Hello, everyone. My name is Triton Perrin, and it has been a long time since I brought you a video. I wanted to talk about this idea of using Aji. Now, this is something I'm really working on in my own games, and I started reading this book called Tesuji and Antisuji of Go. This is actually a position that's in like the very beginning of the book. There's a free example. It's in the free chapter that comes with the Smartgo Books app. I bought the book and I've been reading through it, and I thought this was a really good example. It's easy to understand, and so let's get going. So this is something that I'm going to be working on through my own games, a focus that I'm going to have, if you will. And the idea here is that in my own games, I would look at this position and I would know that there's Aji, but I wouldn't be sure what move to play, or I would play a move that I didn't need to play. I would just give up on it and give my opponent all of these points, right? I would just play a simple in-game exchange like K2, or maybe I would attach because I knew there was a little bit of Aji, but I wouldn't really try too much. So something I'm working on my own is using Aji even if I'm ahead. And Taijim, I feel, is the best place to do that. So first, we need to know what Aji is available in this position. Now, we know that there's these 3 stones here. It seems like there's something, because there's a cut here, there's this turn here, there's a little bit of something here. Before I go on, you should pause the video and see what happens if you cut. Is it possible for black to live? Just playing simple moves, right? And then, is it possible for black to live if he just plays D2? See what type of Aji is available in this position. Now, if you didn't pause, we're just going to keep going on. So let's try the simple move first. If black plays D2, this is threatening to actually potentially kill these 2 stones in the corner. And there's all these Ataris here, right? So white probably wants to connect, which now white can just Hane D2 and kill these 2 stones and has nothing to worry about. Well, when black Hane's here, this is threatening to bring out the stone here, so white wants to capture this. And now black can play this move, sort of getting a little bit of a base on the side here. The problem comes when white can now play this move, and you can kind of tell that now there's not really enough space for black to live. I can't really see how black lives here now. And this is the sort of thing that you should be able to see in your own game, right? So you see that this move doesn't really work. So this is something you should have read out in your head, remember that. And now we can go back. So if that move didn't really do anything, let's try this cut. Obviously white has to extend. When black plays this move, if white extends, then black may be able to bring the B4 stone out because there's enough Aji to potentially kill these cornerstones then. So that's no good. So white wants to prevent any Aji with this B4 stone. And then when black captures this, black has made a Panuki, and that means there's lots of eye space, right? White has to play one more move at least. But after white plays this, it seems like there isn't really anything else left in the position. So that kind of sucks. But remember, you need to have read this out in your head. This isn't too difficult, right? It might be hard to do, hard to imagine the correct moves all the time. But you should find that it seems very difficult for black to live here, but it also seems like black's very close to having shape that's good enough to live. So if we go back to the beginning here, now that we know that there is Aji, those 2 sequences that can potentially have life, that are very close to having life, what can we do to try and threaten to make them live? Well, a forcing move, right? It seems like whenever you want to try to get something extra or try to make something live, you want to play a forcing move that helps it live. And when you think of forcing moves, you should also think of attaching to stones. So how about we try this? I'm not going to go through every single attachment, but let's try this attachment here. This is what is considered the correct move. And if white just backs off, this is the simplest variation. Now let's play through that same Aji that we looked at before. So if black turns, white has to connect. If black plays this, white has to take this stone. And now it looks like this stone is really close to helping black live. But it still seems a little bit difficult. For example, if black plays this, it looks like white can just play here because it seems very difficult for black to actually live here. But it also seems like it's possible. It seems like there's more Aji. So maybe white has to play something over here, or maybe white has to do this right away. But it seems like with some thought, white might be able to still kill. Maybe we didn't quite get enough. If we play something like this to threaten to connect up underneath and then try something, this doesn't quite work, right? Just not quite enough Aji. And it's like if we go here, it's a similar thing. Not quite enough Aji. So it's very close now. Very close now. So let's try the other bit of Aji. And that was this. This is looking pretty promising as well. But if white plays the same moves as last time, black can push and block and extend, and turn. Now, it doesn't look like black was able to live, but black was able to capture 2 stones, which enhanced its territory by quite a few points and reduced white by a little bit, while giving white a couple points as well. So this is a small success, but maybe you could have done better. So if we go back, the Aji doesn't quite, it isn't quite enough yet. It seems that if white invests a little bit of time of thinking that it should die no matter what. However, black can Hane here now, which is threatening to connect up. It's another forcing move. If white does this, black can make the hanging connection, or the tiger's mouth here. This is also threatening to cut at K3. So another sort of forcing move. If white Ataris, then black can start a Ko. And, white takes now this Aji that's in this corner. You can just Atari like this, and this is a Ko threat. If white extends, you can take back. If white's able to find a Ko threat somewhere else on the board and takes, then you have another Ko threat here. So it's you can use this Aji as a source of Ko threats now. So this seems a little bit bad for white as well. So let's say that white just backs off here. Nice and simple. Well, now if we go through the Aji positions that we showed before, like this one, well, now it looks like black's just alive for sure. Doesn't that look pretty alive? Yeah. Well, what about the other one? Well, it kind of looks like black's alive. Like if white takes this one, black should be able to make 2 eyes here for sure. And of course, if white takes this one, black should be able to just make this an eye, right? So now we've made a couple exchanges that have completely changed the outcome of the situation. So if we go back to here, we can see that this move is actually a Tesuji. Like if you read a Sabaki book, you'd probably be able to find a move like this to make Sabaki or make shape for this corner. So now we were able to find the right move to take advantage of the Aji in the corner. But this is like the proper use of Aji. And it's something that, as I said, I'm working on. I really need to get better at this, which is why I'm playing on Taijim. But I think it's something that other people should think about as well. When you're trying to find a good move, you want to play out these types of variations in your head. Like, what happens if we do this? Well, my opponent will be able to kill me. But what happens if I already have this exchange on the board. Can my opponent kill me if this is already here? Well, now it looks like a little bit of a silly move. It's like just connects up here, right? And this is like a little bit questionable by white. Like now this works. And this is sort of how, this is sort of a strong way to take advantage of Aji. It's to read out the position and then imagine what would help this position. What would make this position more stable? Well, if I had stones, as I said before, if I had stones over here, it would work. But this leads into the next sort of point that I wanted to make. Players around like the 10Q level or even up to the 5Q level, sometimes they don't even see that this Aji is there. And if they do see the Aji, they try to play it first. And that's a huge mistake. You want to leave these sorts of positions unplayed. Let's show why. If I do this right now, we know that this can be killed. So before I capture this, I think, oh, duh, it can be killed. Well, maybe there's a cool move I can play. Oh, this looks cool. It seems like, oh yeah, maybe this will just transpose, right? Well, it's not exactly the same anymore, because when white extends and black honey's underneath and does this hanging connection, black has already used up 2 of his co-threats in this corner, which means that black is 2 threats less and white is 2 threats up. So white has a much higher chance of winning this new ko. You've used your Aji before deciding what it was going to be useful for. So this is no good, right? But this is a really interesting topic that isn't really discussed too often online and videos and whatnot. So I wanted to bring it up and mention that this is something that I'm working on. This is a weakness in my game that I need to fix. So I hope you really like the videos, or this video, and there will be more coming real soon because I'm going to be playing all those Taijin games. If you liked the video, please make sure to like, leave a comment, any of those sorts of things. If you want to get in contact with me for any reason, I have an email address that you can send mail to in the description below. And I believe that's it. I hope you guys have a nice day. See ya.